Hi, everyone. It is January 18, 2020. Virginia, Monday, the gun rally. That's what this video is about. I'm very concerned. And this is the first time that the first time that I don't want to see a rally or massive protests. Certainly not about guns. Now, yes, I am very pro Second Amendment. I'm pro Constitution, but the Constitution's kind of gone. We have so few rights now. And we have been seeing throughout the recent years that those so-called representatives do not represent us. They have an agenda. They will get the job done. And what we are also seeing, what it sounds like, coming out of the state capital in Virginia, these representatives, it sounds like they're prepared to do anything to get the job done. Based on the quotes that I've been reading, vile contempt for you guys, for the residents that they're supposed to be representing in Virginia. But in the 3 years since Trump has been president, the hatred of the teams, the blue and the red team, the hatred is so palpable that anything could trigger violence at any kind of rally, as far as I'm concerned, but a gun rights rally. And then you have Trump weighing in, yes. Ahead of Tinderbox Virginia gun rally, Trump says Constitution under attack. A guy that violates the Constitution all the time. A guy that knows that the Constitution is, well, it's pretty much gone. This is not the United States of America. The tyranny is here. We've seen it throughout the years. Get worse and worse. The militarized police and our so-called representatives, whether they're in Washington, D.C., the federal government, or state or local government, they don't care what you want. They have a job. And that job is to take away all of your rights and freedom. That's why I could foresee on Monday it would be so easy to just get one person in there, infiltrate the law-abiding citizens who are fighting for their freedom and their right to own and not have their gun rights restricted or limited. Just one person can infiltrate an awful lot of violence. I really do believe that any solution or resolution to the problems that we have need to be thought of like so outside the box now. We can't keep doing what we've always been doing. And these protests and everything, well, the country's not the same. And I get the sense, based on everything that I've been reading, I just get the sense that those law-abiding citizens who are fighting, who will show up and protest these bills that are very restrictive, actually, in the Virginia State House. And in fact, 3 bills have been passed already in the Senate. Prohibit firearm possession in public spaces, limit monthly handgun purchases, and the mandatory background check for firearm transfers. That's already been passed. just needs to go to the General Assembly and then signed by the governor. And you can read about the details of this. The red flag law, which I guess will come up shortly in Virginia, reads very different from any other red flag law that I've read. Creates a procedure by which any attorney for the Commonwealth or any law enforcement officer may apply to any court to get an emergency substantial risk order to prohibit a person who possesses or poses a substantial risk of injury of himself or others from purchasing, possessing, or transporting a firearm. Creates a procedure for an attorney or law enforcement officer. Now, the other red flag laws that I've read, you'll read, let's say, a family member. They have a limited category of those who can start the process for law enforcement to show up and confiscate guns from an individual who poses as a risk. Okay. Here, it's an attorney or law enforcement. They don't say who goes to the attorney, because an attorney is just not going to say, well, I have nothing to do today, so I guess I'll just pick a random person and file for an emergency substantial risk order. So who goes to the attorney? Anyone. Anyone. This statute doesn't state who could or can't. So anyone can go to an attorney, an associate, a coworker, an ex, boyfriend or girlfriend, a teacher, a family member that you don't get along with, a neighbor who holds a grudge. Do you see how dangerous these laws are? Well, I know you guys do, but and you know, look, the abject absurdity of all of these gun control laws, because they hit the law-abiding citizen. They restrict the rights of the law-abiding citizen, not the criminals, because you can't restrict the rights of the criminals because, well, criminals will just do whatever the hell they want to do, and there will be a black market, and they will easily be able to get the guns. So logic would make you wonder about all of these bills and gun control. Yeah. If somebody's going to shoot up a school or, you know, a movie theater full of people or take a gun and kill somebody, it's not the gun that is the problem. It's that deranged mind. Now, of course, we've had those shootings that have been false flags or staged. I understand all of that. But what I'm just saying, just trying, you know, when you're trying to talk to people, I'm a former liberal Democrat. In the back of my mind, always when I'm, you know, making so many different videos on many different issues, I have them in the back of my mind. They're the highly educated people. They're also the people who think that they're smarter than anyone else. Their arrogance is incredible. And it's like they get their degrees, and then they get their job, and then they get some money, and then they're just locked into, like, robots just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, but they stopped using their brain, and they don't realize they stopped using their brain, and logic is gone, but the arrogance They're just right. They're right about everything. So take away the guns. Then we'll have no more mass shootings. Take away the guns. No more gun violence. That would be a good thing. Do you think the criminals are just going to say, oh, darn. Ugh. Now they're requiring those background checks. Well, I guess I can't go into that store and buy a gun. Well, I guess I'll get it from so-and-so down the street. The reason why so many are fighting is not just, for freedom and the Constitution and their Second Amendment right. It's my right. It's for protection. That you don't hear a lot from mainstream media. Oh, they just want their guns for hunting. Well, too bad, and it's not right to kill animals anyway. But you never hear about the law-abiding citizen. They want their guns to protect themselves and their family. Very rarely do you hear that. So, this is absolutely an infringement of the Second Amendment. And because we have so many now that it's not just, a matter of, the arrogance and our team is smarter than the red team and we know better and we know what's right and trying to force it on everyone else. There's also a real problem. The hatred of the other team on both sides. In 3 years of Trump, that hatred has grown significantly. Trump, he's kept people in that divide and conquer. And he has inflamed it to a point where people are wanting to go and just kill one another. They don't want to have anything to do. It's not a very civil world anymore. I see these articles. America is now the divided republic the framers feared. John Adams worried that a division of the republic into two great parties is to be dreaded as the great political evil. And that's exactly what has come to pass, and that's exactly right. Things are not good. So when I think about this gun rally, I feel like they're setting themselves up. They are so vulnerable to getting not what they want. So it's like Trump, Mr. Violate the Constitution. I don't give a shit, but I'll speak the good game. Your Second Amendment is under very serious attack in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. That's what happens when you vote for Democrats. They will take your guns away. Did you not hear this guy say, take the guns and we'll do due process later? Did you not hear that? Do you know that this guy has stripped you of your rights? You're being played. So a lot of these people will go with the backing of Trump. They might even wear a MAGA hat. What do you think Antifa's going to do? Antifa group plans to march alongside pro-gun protesters in Virginia. Not a good thing. We know Antifa. And they've already said, we will not stand down. If we, sense that somebody's a white supremacist or a Nazi, wear a MAGA hat and see what happens with Antifa. And who's going to be blamed? The law-abiding citizens fighting for their rights. It's unfortunate that even in this community, we're so divided and so on, different pages, and our country's gone. The tyranny has already set in. It's only cementing itself. So we have a militarized police that, wow, I'm sure they're like, yeah, bring it on Monday. And Antifa. We know how they infiltrate all protests and rallies. I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee you. It is my sense that if any violence is sparked on Monday, all blame will go to the pro-gun. And even that, mainstream media, everything that they communicate to inform their readers or viewers is slanted. Pro-gun, well, it makes it sound like all they're about is guns. They're pro-Second Amendment. They're pro-Constitution. But our country is so gone now that it's almost like fighting for that Constitution. It's almost like having that delusion in your head that it's there and you've got to fight to make sure that it stays there or protect it. It's gone. And Trump is one of those who ditches it all the time. Nothing today is what it was years ago. So while we used to be able to get, some measure of success from protesting, today we very often get further behind the eight ball because of the tactics that they use to start the violence and blame it on those who are fighting the good fight, as opposed to the fight to destroy this country and leave us with no freedom and no rights. Yeah, do I wish that they would back down and not go? Yeah. Do I wish that we could somehow, all of us, come together and really think through what we could do? Because we've got to get our thinking really sharp because, well, we've been outsmarted a lot. And those liberal Democrat friends that I had, they're always in the back of my mind, and I'm like, oh my God, I've changed so much. And if they only knew or heard me say, they would think that I was absolutely a lunatic, reading things like convoys and militias, and I feel completely at ease. They reading those words, they looking at pictures of, let's say, militia men and women, freak out. And feel completely safe looking at the, official law enforcement or military. We've been so programmed, so brainwashed. The cultural differences of Americans are really very significant. So you have the Northeast, the liberal Democrats, who I grew up, guns weren't just not even on our radar. We didn't talk about them, nothing. But you get you get very sheltered traveling in a social network of people who believe exactly what you believe, have the same ideology, same political stance, same. So you're supporting one another in your beliefs. And one of those beliefs is you're right, they're wrong. And you don't even have to go any further because you're right and you're being told by everybody around you, you are right. So get rid of the guns. We'll have no more violence. And the militia, oh my God, they're the really crazy people. I mean, they're like bona fide mentally ill. You know, they're scared, maybe thinking that they're schizophrenic or something's wrong. Why do I say this? Because I had that sense. I didn't realize then that I had just been so brainwashed. And in studying myself, learning where did all of this come from, because as I was traveling around the country, meeting an awful lot of people who did not grow up in New York City, who actually grew up in rural Kentucky and in other places around the country, very different from me, and saw that guns, it was just second nature to them. It was like, you know, no big deal. It's kind of like, well, it's kind of like a textbook, you know, to the liberal Democrat. I don't know. I shouldn't say that because but I don't, it was just part of their life. You know, living on farms, living, you know, in just a different way of living. Yet the liberal Democrats, well, they want to control. They want full control because, well, the way they do things is right and the way everybody else does things is wrong. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of arrogance. There's a lot of, I don't have to think about anything. I have a closed mind. I have, look at all of these degrees that I have, you know, from all of these institutions. I'm smart. They'll, you know, they're all framed. And so you're just crazy bringing up this new stuff, Carol. Having, you know, talked to and corresponded with and listened to those who are members of a militia. Wow, okay. Well, we have a lot in common, actually. And they're not crazy. They're not scary. They're people who I wish the liberal Democrats were like, fighting for their freedom, their rights. And yeah, I began with, it was like, oh wow, a whole new way of looking at things and a whole new psyche, and these people aren't scary, and listen to them. And well, now I have a lot of respect. But if you don't get outside your bubble, you're still scared. Militia, convoy, oh my God. All of these people are going into Virginia to fight for their gun rights. Oh my God. Guns? Oh. And they don't go any further, you know, to really look into. They read mainstream media, how mainstream media, you know, communicates the information, and that's it. They don't go any further to dig into. They certainly don't look at the laws that are up for being passed in Virginia. They're not going to look into the details. They're going to believe, you know, the slanting, the twisting, the softening, the, oh, rose color, the doctoring up of what is really happening. So we already have people being arrested, alleged members of a white supremacist group on gun charges, planning to attend the Richmond rally. Okay, I don't know if that's true, but what they're doing is, oh, okay, these people who are going to Richmond to fight for their gun rights are white supremacists. Here we have Antifa ready to march along with you, but they're not going to stand down if they have a sniff of a white supremacist. The right wing are already presented as white supremacists. And, you know, there's a ban for firearms at this rally. The state court upheld the ban. State and federal officials preparing for a volatile mix of weapons, passions, and anti-government fervor. Road closures, extensive military police presence. State of emergency, issued a ban on firearms, other weapons, anything, even projectiles. Anything could be a projectile, a bottle of water. The FAA issues temporary flight restrictions over Richmond airspace, making it illegal to fly planes or drones. They're concerned about weaponized drones or threats from weaponized drones. Everything's going to be blamed on the law-abiding citizen just fighting for their rights to not have their guns taken from them or not have the Second Amendment limited, or, you know, the limitation of the Second Amendment. Everything that I've been reading, the white supremacist groups, here, Virginia Citizens Defense League, which holds this every single year. It's called Lobby Day on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Citizens come to the Capitol and, voice or lobby their lawmakers on a variety of issues. Well, this year, the only issue is going to be gun rights. But this Defense League has appealed for 10,000 supporters to show up unarmed to fill the Capitol Square, and asked several times that many stand outside with weapons. Okay, so they have this zone where the rally will be. This zone, which is here at 9th and East Grace Street. That is the access to the rally, restricted to 9th and East Grace Streets. Just inside that entrance, the crowd is split into 17 lines for screening with metal detectors, and anybody with a gun will be turned away. Police won't confiscate, just turned away. And they're cutting off admission at a certain number, but they haven't disclosed the number. Yeah, all of this is leaving all of those who are really hyped for this rally. And when you're really hyped and things aren't going your way, well, you can lose it. So they cut off admission at a certain number. And when they start cutting people off, and those people see that there's room for more, what's going to happen? But people are allowed to have their weapons outside the zoned off rally area. You get one person shooting a gun, and boom, off to the races. All of this is really, it's scaring me. You know, a lot of people are talking about civil war breaking out. Well, look, it's not going to be civil, that's for sure. It's going to be just abject insanity, insane violence. If anything does erupt outside the rally in other parts of the country. But we're in no condition to fight anything. No condition to fight anything. So that's why I'm like, okay, so we've got these protests, and especially, you know, the gun issue is, you know, very scary for a lot of people on the other team. You got Trump saying, hey, essentially he's saying, go for it, I'm with you. Okay. But he's not, and he's already told us, take the guns first, take it. Due process later. And he's also for red flag laws. So, all right. This is what the House Minority Leader in Virginia said. Any group that comes to Richmond to spread white supremacist garbage or any other form of hate, violence, or civil unrest isn't welcome here. Already they're setting the stage for you guys to be seen as white supremacists. Coalition to Stop Gun Violence, which is a gun control group, well, they canceled. They're not going. Why? Because of ongoing credible threats to public safety that have been promoted by gun extremists, by you guys. Already groups are saying, you've already proven that you're violent. I'm sorry, guys. I really do feel like you're being set up. And it's not going to be pretty. You know, we're at a really bad place now. The tyranny has really, it's just been cementing itself. And, you know, you read things like this. Men discussed opening fire at pro-gun rally. A white supremacist group. You know, and the two of the leaders that are mentioned in this article, Christian Yingling, head of Pennsylvania Lightfoot Militia, leader at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017. I organized a convoy, places we can meet up and drive up together. I'll be leading it. Tammy Lee, a militia activist in Oklahoma, and both of them have signed consent decrees to never return to Charlottesville while armed, part of a lawsuit settlement over the violence there. Already mainstream media is, you know, they're making the association, violence with the militia activists. And if you want to know, you know, exactly all of the laws that are being, if you haven't checked into it, you can read this article, HB 567. There's more, by the way, much more. This is not just a red flag law and, you know, okay, you can only buy one gun a month. You know, that's friggin' insane. Logically thinking, okay, so I guess I'm just going to wait, you know, to do that mass shooting for, I don't know, 2 months, because really I can only put two guns, you know, in each hand, one gun in each hand. All right, so 2 months. God. All right. Don't bother with logic, okay? Just bow down to your authority figures who are, who are passing legislation written by people like Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg, throwing millions into elections in Virginia. Why did it turn blue? Okay. So HB 567 outlaws many indoor gun ranges that are not owned by the state government. Private ranges allowed would have to cater to law enforcement as their primary clientele. Gun ranges would serve as data collection points. You can read the bill that is excerpted right here in this box. Government taking over everything. Small indoor gun ranges might not be able to continue operating. State government claims to want to make the state safer, but at the same time they want to close facilities where gun owners hone their skills, accuracy, education, and safe usage of firearms. Hello. Penalty? $100,000 for the first infraction. $5,000 per day if the defiance continues. You little children, you're going to be grounded by mommy and daddy. And this, HB 3118, okay, well, it's got a lot in it. You can't, bring any stun weapon or knife in, or weapon of any like kind, or ammunition. Okay. To, schools, buildings, grounds included. Ammunition, well, as the organic prepper says, are they afraid that, there's going to be a mass shooting with somebody throwing bullets? Oh, my God. This is how many counties are against what's taking place in their capital. All of these counties do not want this gun control, these bills to pass. So do you think your representatives are representing you? Or are they representing just a fraction of a few? It's outrageous. It's outrageous. You're also going to be paying for a lot. Governor requested $4 million and 18 law enforcement positions to enforce his gun ban, even before it's passed. A request that could be preparatory steps for confiscation. He's requesting another $3.5 million to enforce gun control that has not been passed by the legislature and is not even current law in Virginia. For the universal background checks, 1 gun a month limitations, red flag gun confiscation orders, and more. Already. Give me the money. And he's asking for $250,000 in a $250,000 increase for operating costs in correctional facilities. Arrests made. And the bill actually says in enacting the bill. So, what is happening in Virginia? You have representatives who have vile contempt for all of you. All of you. Wow, that's a lot. They're going to get the job done. They don't care. And this could very well be the test case to see if civil war will break out in other states. Other states are really watching this, that's for sure. But there's a lot of Second Amendment sanctuary counties. There's a lot in Illinois. There's a lot all over the country. But you guys in Virginia brought this to a head. And I'm wondering if it was brought to a head by those behind the curtain, because they're ready to put their foot down, perhaps. All I can say is I hope to God that you guys really go in there with your eyes open and really be very aware of what is taking place all around you. But I can guarantee, no, I can't guarantee. I hope to God that this remains peaceful and nothing happens. Because if anything does, it will be you guys that will just, the blame will fall on you. Not Antifa, not the infiltrators that may very well bring about the violence. And you will all be branded as white supremacists, the crazy militia. I don't see this going well. And these two leaders, already been branded now, and they may very well not have had anything to do with the violence in Charlottesville. Frankly, a lot of it was Antifa, if I'm not mixing up rallies, and federal officials are preparing for a volatile mix of weapons passion and anti-government fervor. Maintain your cool. Maintain your cool. Don't go in there thinking Trump is supporting you. I would not go in there wearing any MAGA paraphernalia. Not when you know they're marching with you. Don't be stupid. Play this with a very, very sharp, aware mind. All links are below. I really hope everything goes okay. So, just to end with this, Senate committee strikes assault weapons bill, advances other. I don't know. I read enough to know that it's not clear. Strikes for the vote on Thursday, but they voted for 3 other bills, or strikes entirely. The assault weapons. All right. I'm nervous. Yeah, there's a lot of hatred now. People are not civil. And we know that every chance they get, they go in and manipulate the hell out of it. And who is the vulnerable ones? Not the crazy Antifas. Just the ordinary, law-abiding citizen. So, yeah, all links are below.